Welcome to the College of Communications News for Tuesday, April 22nd. We'll have the complete weather forecast in a few moments. I'm Dana Rothstein.
And I'm Victoria Glade, topping our news. Over 200 Nigerian girls are still missing today after an attack last week by an Islamic extremist group on a girls' school. The attack is believed to be the work of the group Boko Haram, whose name means Western education is sinful. Education officials reported last week that only 85 girls were abducted, while military officials reported that all but 8 girls had been rescued, but both statements were retracted. So far, none of the young women aged between 16 and 18 have been rescued.
Officials say that the death toll from last week's ferry boat sinking off the South Korean coast reached 113 today. Family members are visually identifying the recovering bodies. The cause of the accident is still unknown. About 190 people are still missing.
The countries of Belarus and Italy are relieved today after 3 of their journalists who were detained by pro-Russia insurgents in eastern Ukraine on Monday are now free. 1 Belarusian and 2 Italian journalists were stopped by gunmen when they were reporting in the city of Slavyansk, which is currently being occupied by pro-Russia forces. Dmitry Galko told the Associated Press that he and 2 Italian colleagues were taken in and then freed sometime later after a document check. Ukraine's foreign ministry and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, a 57-nation group that includes Russia and the U.S., condemned the detentions.
Vice President Joe Biden says that Russia needs to take action instead of talking. This comes today after his visit to Ukraine regarding its involvement with Russia. Along with this statement, Biden also announced that the U.S. is going to send $50 million in additional funds to Ukraine to help them get back on their feet.
Investors are beginning to put more faith in the U.S. economy today after a Business Research Association released a positive report Monday. After a stagnant winter, one key measure of the United States' economic health is up for the 3rd straight month. Penn State economics professor Bill Goff explains how this measure is determined.
It's called the Index of Leading Indicators, and they look at a large number of macroeconomic variables, and they look backwards to see which tend to go up before the economy as a whole goes up.
There are many factors that the Research Association, which is called the Conference Board, takes into account within the index. Goff says that the one key indicator is the average hours of work of people in manufacturing.
When that increases, what often is happening is that orders are picking up, businesses are getting more orders for things, and before they start hiring more people, they're putting people to work for longer periods.
Goff and other economic analysts predict that these increases will continue throughout the year. Now, more and more people may finally be able to find jobs after years of searching.
2 days ago, a landslide moved into Jackson, Wyoming, devouring houses in various parts of the town. Over the past 2 weeks, pieces of East Grove's Venture Bude has slowly collapsed toward the west side of Jackson. This has caused such a horrible decline in homes and businesses because the residents of Jackson are worried either their houses will be crushed by leftover pieces. A resident of Jackson, Wyoming, Randy Rosen, is crushed by this environmental outbreak.
I've seen neighbors' homes being destroyed by the landslide. We had 42 homes that had to be evacuated. And some of my very dear friends and neighbors have lost their homes, and it's very, very upsetting.
Residents have been evacuating their homes along with residential areas. Businesses, cars have been destroyed along with other areas in Jackson.
Well, I'm very distressed over this because this is my hometown. I've grown up here, and I'm raising my kids here.
People are still raving today about the excitement of yesterday's Boston Marathon. 1 year after the marathon bombing, 36,000 runners were enrolled in the event, 9,000 more than last year. The number of police doubled with 3,500 all throughout the path. The police were assisted by 100 security cameras and bomb-sniffing dogs. Boston University student Allison Chayton was at the event this year and said Boston pride was strong all day.
I just have never seen so much Boston pride before, and it was just made me so happy that I go to school here and live here, and made me really proud to be here too.
Chapton said she along with others were nervous to go to the finish line, but even though they didn't end up going, police presence made everyone feel safe. 38-year-old Meb Kaflisi was the first American to cross the finish line since 1983. The marathon was a success, and the city is Boston strong.
We will have more news after the break.
Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, nobody cared.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out.
I just thought the only way I can make something out of my life is that if I get an education.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself.
Stay in school. Give yourself a chance.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for RAD. I'm here to remind you that drunk drivers are still a major killer of young adults in this country. So always choose a designated driver, and remember, music lives, you should too.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and Mama was a hippie.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the College of Communications News for April 22nd, 2014. I'm Dana Rothstein.
And I'm Victoria Glaude. State College police are investigating a reported sexual assault today that took place on West College Avenue last week. Police have not released the gender of either individual involved and could not confirm if either person was a Penn State student. Since August, there have been 28 sexual assaults reported to local police, but Executive Director of the Center County Women's Resource Center, Ann Ard, says she does not believe sexual assault is on the rise.
I just think we are more sensitized to it and we're paying better attention to it. And so I think there are more reports of sexual assault because before people didn't feel like it was safe to report, and increasingly people are feeling like if they do report that they've been assaulted, something's likely to be done.
Art also says people in the community must be aware of what's going on around them.
If we see something happening to somebody we know or even to somebody we don't know that looks like it's going to end up in a risky or difficult or dangerous situation, we need to be willing to intervene in that.
The Center County Women's Resource Center urges anyone affected by sexual assault to call their hotline.
The installation of more than 400 new security cameras continues today on Penn State's campus. The estimated $1.4 million project will install cameras mainly focused on the entrances to resident areas and event areas like Beaver Stadium. Cameras will also be installed in all new buildings. According to Coordinator of Communications at Penn State's OPP, Paul Ruskin, the additional cameras are necessary.
Cameras are new technology which is available to make the campus safe, and Penn State is committed to having a safe campus so that students can focus on their academics and not have to worry about anything else.
Ruskin says the new cameras will do their own computer analysis, meaning the cameras do not have to be monitored. There is no set date on when the installation will be completed.
Business owners and members of the State College community are beginning to prepare for the start of water line construction that will begin downtown in May. The State College Water Authority will be replacing a 100-year-old water line on College Avenue between Heiston and Atherton Streets. Downtown State College Improvement District Executive Director George Arnold explains how the construction would affect the community.
Well, this will start on Monday after graduation in May, and it's going to affect a lot of people. It'll certainly impact our downtown business owners, and many times when folks hear that there is construction in the downtown, they tend to avoid the downtown area. So that's not helpful for our local businesses.
Arnold says that the construction will be halted on June 27th and won't be resuming again until mid-July. This is to avoid affecting the many festivals that take place downtown in the summer.
With the Arts Fest, even our Summer's Best Music Fest on the last Saturday of June, the work will stop by that Friday, June 27th. They have to have streets opened up and everything cleaned up for the next 2 weeks there. It'll be Summer's Best Music Fest, it'll be Fourth Fest, and then Arts Fest.
Members of the LGBTA community are enjoying the peace and quiet on College Avenue today after rallying against gay marriage protesters Monday afternoon. The American Society for the Defense of Tradition, Family, and Property stood next to the Allen Street gates yesterday, chanting that marriage is between one man and one woman. Junior Kristen Bauman says that she was really upset when she saw their sign and describes what she did next.
So I went into McClanahan's and I bought a poster board and I wrote, "Come be gay with me." And I ran into a friend across the street and I was like, "Come with me." So we went over and we just sat down, and slowly people just started coming and joining in.
Students from Penn State's LGBTA Resource Center followed Bauman's example and filed down the street with rainbow flags and silly string. Bauman says that even though they were angry, students made sure it was a peaceful protest.
It was all very supportive, we get to support our rights if you get to support what you want to say.
Bauman says that she plans to get more involved with the Resource Center in the future to stand up to other people like the Society for Defense of Tradition.
Penn State has been celebrating Earth Day by hosting many environmental-related events during the whole month of April. Today, there will be multiple events hosted by the Eco Action, Green Teams, and Student Sustainability Advisory Council. President of Eco Action, Serena Katz, says the Eco Action is continuing their long tradition of doing Earth Day celebration. Kat discusses the Eco Action Day events.
We will be having performers, including Nomo, taiko drummers. There will also be several activities you can do, such as plant potting, tie-dye, lawn games, and trivia. So it's really just to promote Earth Day, promote sustainability, and get community and campus to come together in celebration.
Student Sustainability Advisory Council is hosting their annual tree award and planting event on the Morningstar Solar Home. SSAC co-chair Evan McTagg explains how a student can win this award.
Anyone can be nominated or nominate themselves for this tree award, and it is an honor to the student who receives it for their commitment and their dedication to the sustainable practices of the university and just overall things that they have given back to the university.
McTagg also mentions that the council would pick a student to win.
This weekend, a fairly new event happened in the Hub called Polar Day. For the second year, students got to experience driving a remotely operated vehicle which researchers used to dive into cold waters and observe activity under the sea. The event also included a speaker named Felicity Aston, the first woman in the world to ski across Antarctica alone. Outreach coordinator for Penn State's Polar Center, Perneville Boeing, says the research ranges in topics that will all be beneficial.
The breadth of the research is very wide. It goes all the way from ice core research samples to ecology of caribou and muskox.
Researchers will go to the Arctic and will travel to Greenland in the summer when it's ice-free. The event is already rescheduled for next year at the Hub on March 21st, 2015.
The Four Diamonds Fund at Penn State has teamed up with the Boyertown Area High School holding its fourth annual mini-thon. Last year, the high school mini-thon raised $32,000. The events have been held all year, but this one will be Friday the 28th, Sunday the 30th. Mini-thon replicates thon on a smaller scale. There are currently more than 100 schools and 20,000 students participating in mini-thon.
The Penn State women's gymnastics team ends their season at 20-3 after competing at nationals in Birmingham, Alabama this weekend. The team became the first team outside of the top 12 to advance to the NCAA championships. The number 15 Nittany Lions finished 12th in the competition. The low scoring was a result of a lot of unstuck dismounts and falls. Head coach Jeff Thompson feels the team's inexperience led them to these mistakes.
A lot of it was just first time being there. We competed on a podium. There was a lot of excitement there and probably more adrenaline than they were used to having during the season. So the mistakes that we made, they were aggressive mistakes.
Coach Thompson said seniors Lindsay Musgrove and Casey Strader were big contributors to the team's motivation.
In their presentation to the team, they made a video, and in the video they talked about how their first meet was in Alabama and how they wanted to get back there to make everything go full circle. So just that desire, that coincidence, really was a driving force toward the end of the season.
Coach Thompson said he's excited for next season. The team roster will have more in depth with a talented incoming freshman class, and the Nittany Lions will be hosting 5 competitions.
Head coach of Penn State's women's hockey team, John Brandwin, confirmed that 7 players were cut from the team yesterday afternoon. Some of the hockey team players claim to have an uneasy relationship with Coach Brandwin. Former hockey player Katie Murphy says that Coach Brandwin talking down to the team like children and describes him as a bully. 7 of the 3 students who were cut from the team were on scholarships, and many players say that they were not given any specific reason as to why they were cut.
Okay. That's the news for Tuesday, April 22nd, 2014. Our producers today were Frederick Annette and Trevor Newcomb, and our technical director was Jess Riley. For the entire College of Communications news team, I'm Dana Rothstein.
And I'm Victoria Glaude. Have a good day.
This has been a presentation of Students in Com 360 at Penn State University's College of Communications.